Welcome back, everyone, to our Making It Fun career mode series in NASCAR Heat 3. So I decided to go ahead and fast forward to begin the playoffs. So before we get started with any racing today, let's go ahead and take a look at our playoff grid and see how things are going to line up here at the very beginning. You notice that we are sitting in 10th place, only 2 points above the cutoff line. So we got a few people below that cutoff line, and the main thing we got to do is make sure we stay above that line. We need to stay in the top 12 at the very least. And of course, along the way, it would be really nice if we could win some stages and of course, win some races. And that will help us as we hopefully are able to move along in the playoffs. So let's take a quick look at the schedule. We're going to start the playoffs here at Las Vegas. Then it's Richmond, the Charlotte Roval, and that will conclude the round of 16. And then in the round of 12, we'll go to Dover, Talladega, and Kansas. So should be some very interesting racing going on up front, and let's see how we can do at Las Vegas. Let's go ahead and plan for the next race. All right, let's adjust that work plan. And let's see. Okay, our Speedway chassis in bay number 2 looks like that's the one we're going to want to use to get started. All right, there we go. Let's see, actually, on that one, let's use Stella for that one, since we're well over the max anyway. And let's see, what's next? Short track. So we'll go ahead and prepare our short track chassis for the next event. And there you have it. We have 2 cars that are going to be at maximum capacity, at least for us. We're just shy of 100s across the board. And there you have it. Bay number 2, 100, 195, as well as bay number 3, which is our short track car. So we're all set. Let's head to Vegas. All right, folks, it is race time here at Vegas, and we're starting on the outside pole. Now that has me, of course, really worried about the racing. I was a little worried coming into it, but we're going to see what we got. And of course, it's playoff time, so we can use any playoff points, including victories, that we can get. So let's see what kind of speed we've got for them. All right, so we're off to a good start. These guys certainly can't hang with us getting up to speed. Let's see how they do now that we're in 4th gear. It looks like they'll probably come back on me here at the start, and let's see what happens after that. Of course, you might remember earlier in this season, this was one of my favorite races ever, simply because we had very little grip, and that leads me into a discussion of next season, which is what I'm really excited about. Next season, I'm going to be testing out what I think should make things a lot more fun to drive the car, and that is I'm going to start out using 100, 100, and then 70. So our actual grip level should be pretty low, since we'll have no mechanical grip in the car. We'll have plenty of aero grip, and the reason I'm doing that is basically because I don't want to hinder the drag on the car. I want to make sure that we have all of the top end speed we can get, so that it makes it much different between the speed on the straightaways and the speed we can run through the corners. That is what makes for good racing. NASCAR hasn't quite figured that out yet, and in fact, in 2019, they're going the opposite direction. Let's give them more downforce and take away straightaway speed so that they can run wide open or nearly wide open on every 1.5 miles. So that, as far as I'm concerned, is a terrible formula unless you're looking to create IndyCar racing. So we'll see how that goes next season, but I do not have high hopes for how that's going to work out. I'm sure it'll work out okay at some tracks, but me personally, I don't care for the Talladega, Daytona style racing at every type of track. It's fine a few times a year, but I don't want that at every track. In fact, it would be just fine with me if they would get away from a lot of these mile and a halves, particularly 2 races a year, and add some more short tracks and road courses in there. All right, so you can now see that what I feared was going to happen has happened. We are miles ahead of the AI. Miles ahead. They are nowhere to be found. In fact, I can just barely see a glimpse of them going through the corner. But on the straightaway, nothing. So this is certainly not the racing that I want, and it's certainly not the same racing that we had here the first time around, which was a good bit more fun to do. So that's what I'm looking forward to in next season here. I want to try that out. I want to try out 100, 170. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we can always mess around with it from there. We can increase the amount of grip. We can lower some of the aero grip to make it even less grip overall in the car. So we got a lot of options, and that's what I plan on testing out next season. As long as it's really fun, that's all I care about. And of course, in line with that, one of the things we're going to have to do is adjust the AI difficulty. Obviously, we're not going to be able to run with the maximum strength AI if we're running with practically no grip in our car, and that's going to slow us down quite a bit. Just exactly how much, I'm not sure yet, but I'm hoping it's a lot. So we'll adjust the AI so that they're running similar speeds to us, and once again, the more options we have for adjusting, the better off I'm going to like it. Alright, so it looks like we're going to cruise home to an easy stage victory. That'll give us another playoff point that will carry forward for us. And alright, so far so good in this race. From a performance perspective, car's handling perfectly fine. I set it up to be a little bit tight.
Won the stage. Way to go, driver.
So we'll bring home stage number 1 in a thrilling victory. Wow. Sometimes I'm just at a loss for some of the things with the AI. All right, so of course we're not going to need to pit. Thankfully, we're not running a 50% race here, because that would be extremely boring for me, and I know it'd be boring for you guys, which is why I'm spending this time talking more about next season than this particular race. Because right now, it's not a race at all. And we're not doing anything special to run away from the AI like this. It's just that they're that slow. They are running several tenths per lap slower than us. But again, we've seen that in times past in other series when we visited this track. So it's not a complete surprise. And this is one of those races I would skip normally during the regular season, because I'm not on the lookout for easy victories. But since it's part of the playoffs, this, if nothing else, will give us an opportunity. If nothing happens and we're able to bring home a victory, it'll give us a chance to move forward into round number 2, the round of 12. And then from there, we'll see what happens. I think we've got a really good chance of moving forward all the way to Homestead with a chance at the championship, but we shall see. A lot of that's going to depend on how good a racing I can have with the AI. If we get wrecked a lot, then obviously that's going to hinder our ability to move forward in the playoffs. So we're hoping for no wrecks. All right, so 10 laps here in this stage, and no sign of the AI already after only 4 laps. In fact, let's go ahead and see. What are they doing? Okay, so the nearest one is about 2 seconds behind, and then it looks like they're single file back behind that. And we'll watch this for a couple laps just to see, because again, I'm not really trying to push this. I'm just easing it into the corner, easing back into the throttle. I mean, these are pretty easy laps. It looks like we gained about 3/10 that time, so they're running not far from 31-second laps. Wow, that is incredibly slow. Alright, not bad at all. As far as the handling of the car, again, I wanted it to be tight. Since I'm not running any practice sessions before these races, I want to make sure that the car is stable enough to stay with me, even if it scrubs off some speed. Because stability is more important than speed right now when racing with the AI, that's for sure. But in this particular race, there's no AI to be found. They are all well behind us. We're now over 3 seconds ahead of those guys, so nothing doing there. Alright, let's get rid of that, because all that does is aggravate me by keeping that up and seeing how much faster we are than the AI each and every lap. So we'll finish off. I really hope that they address some of this either in future patches, or maybe we're going to have to wait until next season in NASCAR Heat 4 for more adjustments to the AI. They're not keen on releasing too many patches, so that might be exactly what happens. But hopefully they'll make some adjustments and we can get some better racing at these tracks. All right, coming up on the final lap of stage number 2.
Come on, dig, driver.
All right, there you have it. Stage 2 is now in the books.
Won the stage. Way
So
to
that's
go, driver.
one more stage point for us. And another thrilling victory in the second stage, a very hard-fought victory. It's amazing how different this was than the finish at Michigan. All right, so we got 15 laps remaining. Of course, we're not going to pit, although part of me wants to go ahead and pit just so we can see about starting from the rear and can we get it done in 15 laps. But
Be ready.
given my recent experiences with the AI, I will not be doing that,
Clear all around.
because the name of the game right now is to avoid frustration in this game. I've had enough of that lately, and I am looking for some better racing and to stay away from that frustration. Because there are some other games here on the channel that I am really enjoying, such as the Farming Simulator 19 series, as well as the new X4 Foundations. I am loving both of those games. So the more frustrated I get with the NASCAR Heat series, the harder it is for me to come back to it and continue these series long term. Because my brain starts telling me, hey, we can do other series and not be this frustrated. So I'm looking to minimize the frustration here so we can all continue on with the series. All right, at least I can see the AI right now in my mirror. That's a beautiful thing.
Concentrate.
I wish they were a lot closer. Because again, ultimately for me in this game, it's all about fun. And particularly in this gameplay series that we're doing, it's all about making it fun. And it's just not fun to win this way. I would much prefer a race like we had at Michigan, where we were so close to getting the victory, but we didn't quite have what we needed to get there. Maybe if we had a few more laps or, something like that, maybe. But that's the fun of it, is it's just simply the close racing and the ability to, put it in the middle of those guys and see what you got. That's what's fun. The actual finishes don't really matter that much to me. And the first race of the season, that the first time we were here at Vegas, is a great example of that. I forget now where we actually finished, but that car was a handful to drive, and I absolutely loved it. All right, so we're under 10 laps to go, and I believe we're going to be coming to 6 laps to go. Once again, I just keep looking in the mirror, hoping to see, because sometimes it does appear that the AI gets sudden bursts of speed as the race goes on. So I'm just keep waiting to see if that's going to be the case. Of course, they'd have to pick up a lot of speed to catch us at this point, since they were so much slower per lap. But at least I can sort of see them. Looks like they're having some battles back there. Alright, so that brings us to 6 laps to go. This is such a nice track to race on because there's so much room to race here that's usable, actual usable space. At a lot of tracks, it's hard to use very many grooves on the track just because of the natural shape of the track and the transitions into the corners and all that kind of thing. But here, I mean, you can run all the way out next to the wall. You can run in the middle of the track. You can run anywhere you want to, and you'll be perfectly fine. There's speed to be had no matter where you want to run. All right, 4 more to go. Those bumps in the bottom of turn 1 and 2 that have been there since the repave and reconfiguration of the track make it pretty challenging down there to stay down there and still maintain speed. So just adds a little bit of extra character to the track, those high frequency bumps down there. All right, there we go, 2 to go.
2 more, 2 to go.
And now, unfortunately, no more AI in my rear view mirror. So no late bursts of speed.
Last lap, this time.
And finally, our last lap. So I really hate I couldn't bring you guys a better race, but again, I didn't want to pass this one up since we're now in the playoffs, and this is an opportunity to get ourselves into round 2, because ultimately we want to see what we can do about getting to Homestead and have a chance for the championship. But if this were just a normal regular season race, I would have skipped it.
That's a win. Nice job.
Because that was certainly not fun for me to drive and pick up that easy victory. But it is part of the playoffs, so we go with it. All right, let's go ahead and move through the final few screens. See what kind of money we pick up here. Now, I've actually spent a little bit of money here recently. You notice our bank total was $561,000. I've actually spent some money on the Xfinity cars, trying to upgrade them a little bit more while I had the extra income. All right, so not bad. Look at that, $832,000 in merchandise payout. That is very nice. And of course, that shoots us straight to the top of the playoff grid with that green advanced tag next to us as we sweep the weekend, at least as far as points are concerned, by winning both stages as well as the race. All right, so we'll go ahead and head back to the main menu, and let's see if we get any Twitter reaction from any of these guys. Okay, we made 1.3 million in this race. Very nice. I can certainly put that to use in the other series. All right, Kevin Harvick. Now that's what I call a win. Neil Pittler's win at Vegas was fast, professional, and incredibly clean. Awesome. Okay, DJ Kennington, you deserve that win. No lucky charms needed when you are really fast and super clean. Well, I didn't have to worry about being super clean because there was nobody around me. Ryan Newman, again, just that look on his face really tells it all you need to know about Ryan Newman and the way he drives. So Neil Pittler has it all: talent, professionalism, a win, and my respect. All right, so that will take care of the round of 16 for us, at least as far as it matters to us. So let's go ahead and move through these. So now it'll be on to Richmond, which I will be, in all likelihood, unless I talk myself into it, because I love Richmond, we will be skipping forward to the round of 12. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as we will continue our gameplay series of NASCAR Heat 3.